Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jennifer and I make lifestyle videos. I talk about being a mom of 3 kids. I do recipe videos, we do vlogs, we do day in the life videos, we do routine videos, we do all of that here. So if you are new, I would love for you to subscribe and join our family here and give this video a huge thumbs up. Today we are talking about minimalism again, and you guys loved when I talked about me being a minimalist, and I will leave that video in the iCard for you guys if you want to go check that out. But today I'm talking about how to basically get rid of your kids' toys without them like freaking out too much. And the reason this has to do with minimalism is because obviously you're getting rid of toys, you want minimal amount of toys. When kids have less toys, they actually play with them more than they do if their minds are cluttered and distracted with too many things. So I find that when my kids dump out all of their toys, like they dump out the Barbies, and then they dump out the LOL dolls, and then they dump out the Hatchimals, and then they're having puzzles all over the place, and then there's dress up. They get so confused in their brain about what they want to play with, like overstimulation, that then they just don't even play with anything and the place is a mess. Now, I'm not a perfect mom. My kids do that pretty much every day and it drives me crazy, and I'm trying to really teach them to play with one thing at a time. Now, there are 3 different kids, so it's really hard to have them want to play with one thing at a time. If you guys are new, I have a daughter who is 6, a son who is almost 4, and then another daughter who is 2. So it's rare that they all want to play with the same thing at the same exact time, so they tend to just take everything out. So we're working on that. Again, I'm not perfect, but I do have a few tips on how to get rid of toys that you don't want so that that doesn't happen too much. And we are still working on this ourselves. So again, I'm not perfect at this, but I wanted to share some tips because in my minimalism video, you guys said that you wanted some tips on the kids stuff. So here I am with that. So let's get started. So this first tip is something that we just started probably 2 months ago, and it's working pretty good. And it sounds kind of silly, and I think I heard about this in an article. Maybe I'll try to find the article, but it is putting the toys in timeout. So obviously the toys didn't do anything bad, the child does, but hear me out. So basically when the kids just throw their toys on the ground, or sorry, when the kids like throw stuff all over the floor and they're not playing with it, then they're not treating the toys right. That's something that we really try to stress with the kids. Like, you need to treat your toys right, whether you're throwing like doll clothes all over the ground and not picking them up, or taking apart certain toys and just throwing them on the ground, or puzzles is a big thing. Like if your kid just like dumps the puzzle out and they don't put it back together, they're just dumping it and they're walking away and like that's how they play with it. Then we're really trying to teach our kids that is not how we treat toys. So once we explain that to them, let's use the puzzle as an example. We say like, this is not how we treat our puzzles. If we want to play with the puzzle, then we can dump it out and then we put it back together and then we put it away. And then if you want to do the next puzzle, you can. So my kids tend to dump all like 20 puzzles out at the same time, and it's just not how we treat things. So we first give them a warning. We tell them, you know, that's not how you treat that specific toy. And then if they do it again, whether it's that day or a different day, then the toy goes in timeout. So I'll take the puzzle and I will put it in our laundry room, or you just put it somewhere where they can't get it. And it goes in timeout for 24 hours or 1 day. You can tell the kids 1 day. And basically what we do is if they ask for the toy like multiple times, then we'll give it back to them. If they forget about that toy and they don't ask about it for multiple days, then we get rid of the toy. So it's clear that they don't really care too much about the toy because they are mistreating it to begin with. And then if they're not asking for it and they basically forgot about the toy, then they really don't need it in their life. So obviously your kids have toys where they love the toy, they think about it all the time, they play with it most. And then there's other toys that you may have gotten them and you thought they would like and they just don't really love it, or they like it okay, or they only play with it once every 2 months or something like that. So that's what we've been doing. So we have a pile in the laundry room of toys that have been in timeout and the kids have totally forgotten about them. It is hard for me to even get rid of some toys sometimes, especially learning toys like puzzles. Like I want my kids to learn their shapes. Piper's still learning shapes right now, so there's like a few shape puzzles. But I need to remind myself that there's other ways to teach her that. So if the puzzle isn't something that she wants to play with, then we can learn shapes a different way, whether it's flashcards or showing her shapes or drawing shapes or something like that. It doesn't have to be that learning toy. And just because it's a learning toy doesn't mean we need to keep it. Somebody else can use it, somebody else can learn from it. So I really try to teach myself that. Or if it's like a stuffed animal or something that someone gave her that's like really special, or him, I'll maybe just put it away in like a bin. They all have bins up in their closet of things that I want to keep for them for when they're older. So if it's something like that, then I'll keep it. But otherwise, I just need to let go and get rid of it, because the kids have forgotten about it clearly. Let's say a month later, they're like, where's that toy? Or where is that puzzle? Then we can buy them a new one if we really want to. But that is the timeout method for the toys. Okay, so this second tip is kind of like a two-parter, and it's basically rewarding your child for getting rid of things. So I bet a lot of you moms out there try to secretly get rid of your kids' toys. I've tried that before. I've felt bad about it. And I also want to continue to teach my kids how to get rid of things and not hoard things and not feel like all this stuff is just mine, mine, mine. So just getting rid of it without them knowing is kind of not really teaching them anything, but that's okay. I've done it before. So basically, I will sit the child down. Now Piper's kind of young at 2. She doesn't really understand too much, but Jane is really, really learning about this right now. So I will sit her down in her room and we will go through toy by toy and talk about, you know, why she wants to keep it, or why she wants to maybe give it to somebody else or get rid of it. And a lot of time, 99% of the time, she wants to keep the toy even if she doesn't play with it. Don't all kids, they're their toys, you know, it's hard for them. So then I will come up with some reward, like we can go get ice cream, or we can go to the movies if we get rid of at least 5 toys. And we just kind of go from there. So it is kind of bribery, but it's also teaching them to get rid of things. The second part of this is rewarding them with new toys, which kind of sounds like against the minimalism thing. But if there's like one toy that you know your child really wants, or every time you go to Target or Walmart, they're asking for this toy, especially if it's like a bigger priced item and you're like, oh, well, we'll wait for your birthday or Christmas or something like that. I feel like my kids always have at least one thing in their brain that they think that they want every time we go to the store, whether it's big or small. But I will then reward them with that. So I'll say, okay, well, if we can get rid of, it has to be a lot of things. Like you have to get rid of at least 5 to 10 things to get one toy. That way you're not getting rid of just one thing and replacing it, which that could be something too. But if you're trying to get rid of toys, you want to obviously get rid of more toys than you're bringing in. But I have done that before, whether she gets rid of a certain amount of toys and then we can go to the store and she can be rewarded with a new toy that's like more her age. She's getting to the age now where a lot of her toys are kind of babyish. She has like those little people princesses that she will not get rid of, but she loves so much, but she doesn't even play with them. So there's a lot of toys like that where she can kind of get rid of them and then buy a new toy that's more her age range, or like a learning toy or something like that. The third tip I have is to tell your child or explain to them, again, I guess it depends on your child's age, where the toy is going or why we're getting rid of it. We're really working on Jane. I know I keep referring to Jane because the other 2 really are kind of too little for this. But so for Jane, a lot of her toys, like I said, are becoming a little babyish, and so sometimes I'll even just have her give some of her toys to Piper. Now it's not getting rid of toys in our house, but if she has certain toys in her room that she can give to Piper and Piper can have in her room, then it frees up space in Jane's room and she gives the toys to Piper. So the advantage for Jane there, and what I tell her, is that we're just switching rooms. We're just giving her the little people, letting her have the little people in her room. You don't even play with them. And anytime that you want to go play with them, which I know she doesn't, but we can just tell her for her comfort and her peace of mind, then she can go in her sister's room and play with them. Also, we have a little niece and a little nephew coming up, so if you have family members or neighbors or cousins that you can give toys to, then you can say that too. So our kids have been super excited to give baby Audrey, who is my niece, some of their toys, and that really makes them excited because they like giving gifts and things like that. So they'll give her the gift, they'll show her how to play with it, and then they also say like, oh, well, we can play with that when we go over to Aunt Jen and Uncle Dylan's. So they know that they can still see that toy. And again, these are toys that they haven't played with in forever, but it's just the getting rid of part that they get flustered with. And so just knowing in the back of their mind that they can play with it later really helps. And I guarantee you, whenever we go over to Aunt Jen and Uncle Dylan's, they don't even care about the toy or even remember about it. So it's just a way to like bring them comfort. Or if you're planning on going to give the toys to Goodwill or Toys for Tots or something like that, you can really explain that some children don't have any toys at all, and this is really a great way to be able to give toys to children who don't have any toys. Or I say like, what if you didn't have any toys? Wouldn't that be great if somebody gave you some of their toys? Wouldn't you feel great about that? And so we've kind of explained that too. So my worst enemy is little trinkets, Happy Meal toys, things like that, kid meal toys, trinkets that they get from like their Easter baskets or stocking stuffers or birthday party favors, things like that. The little toys that either break in like an hour or are just like thrown around the house and the kids don't care. This is gonna sound really harsh, but what I do is like, let's use Happy Meal for example. They'll have a Happy Meal toy and they'll be all about it, like, oh, we're gonna play with this, they're having so much fun playing with it, and then I guarantee you the very next day they have forgotten about it. It's not like a huge toy that they've been wanting for a long time or something like that someone gave them at their birthday party. It's just something that they got in their Happy Meal. So I usually collect them and put them on the kitchen counter at night after that first day that they used it. And then I do kind of like the same thing like the toys that are in timeout. If the kids don't ask about the toy or play with the toy for the next 24 hours, then the toy goes in the trash. So again, with, let's use the party favors. So the kids get this party favor. There's candy and stuff. They're eating the candy. And then there's like a slap bracelet and a little tiny slinky. So they're playing with the slap bracelet and the slinky all day, having a great time with it, or even just like a few hours. And the slinky gets all misshapen and then they go to bed. So I'll pick up the slinky and the slap bracelet, I'll put it on the counter. Another 24 hours goes by or another day or two and it just goes in the trash and they never ask about it after that. So that's what I do for those kind of things, because those kind of things can really get collected and just like thrown everywhere and it just gets way too crazy. So my last tip, and something that we have only done like once and I'm very tempted to do again, but you kind of have to have some sort of storage for this, is to rotate toys. So like I said before, if your kids have access to all of their toys and they have tons and tons of toys, most likely they're not really gonna play with them as much as you think. But if they only have, let's say, 3 sets of toys to play with or like in their reach, then they will play with those toys. So rotating toys is like an awesome idea. So you put some of the toys away. Again, you have to have storage for this, so like in a closet or something, and you just have the toys that they can play with out and about. So the idea of this is pretty simple. The kids will play with whatever they have out, and then like once a week you just rotate the toys out. That way the interest in the toys stays because they've played with it for a week, now they're ready for a new toy, and now the new toy is like a brand new toy to them basically, and they're sick of the toy that they were playing with all last week, and then you can continue to rotate them out. That kind of takes planning and thought, but if it means your kids are going to be playing with their toys the correct way and not making huge messes, then that's going to be awesome. So that is it on how to get rid of your kids' toys, how to not make huge messes with your kids' toys, and just how to stay sane with the amount of toys that these children have. I don't know what I would do if my kids were further apart in age. I feel like they're at the age right now where they can still pretty much play with all the same types of toys, and they're kind of growing up together and like switching from the baby toys. Now they're kind of like toddler toys. Now Jane's starting to get into like the big kid toys. So they're gonna be kind of going together. If we had like spread out like baby stuff and toddler stuff and like teen stuff, I don't know what I would do. So anyways, I hope that you guys liked this. If you guys want a video on toy organization, let me know, because that is something that I definitely do, and that is something that I would definitely share with you guys. So if I don't have comments here, let me know over on Instagram and I will do that. So I hope that you liked this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye guys.